YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy Yo Hoops, and this is another episode of Fading the Public. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's January 7th, 2025, and we have a 7 game slate. I'm going to break it all down for you, let you guys know what I like and how we're going to make money today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and without further ado, let's get into it. Recapping yesterday's games, we went 2-0 on our highlighted. Our first play was the Indiana Pacers laying 9.5 on the Brooklyn Nets. It got a little close in the fourth quarter, but the Pacers ended up cashing for us. Our second play was the New York Knicks and Orlando Magic under 210. I let you guys know in the comments that you'll probably be able to get it around 214 to 218 under live during the game, and I was able to load up on under 218.5 live. The game ended at 197, so that was another easy cash. On all of the games on the 9 game card yesterday, we went 8-1 ATS, so absolutely killed it. Almost got the sweep, but I had the Miami Heat plus 3.5, and that Sacramento Kings game went into double OT, and DeRozan went crazy to win the game by 5. So we were so close to sweeping the card. I'm not going to win every game, but I try and come on here and break it down for you, give you guys my angles and how I'm making money every day. And I'm just so happy with how it's turned out so far. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. On every NBA game that's been played this season, I'm 32, 14, and 1 ATS. So knocking out every game I've analyzed. And on my highlighted plays, I'm 10 and 4 ATS. So you're up a pretty penny, 6 units. So if you bet $100 on every one of my highlighted plays, you're up $600 to start the new year. We're killing it. So keep tuning in, guys. It's your boy Yo Hoops. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. First up, we have the Houston Rockets in Washington taking on the Washington Wizards. Rockets are laying 11.5, and the total is 225.5. 11.5 is a big number, but Rockets have been good at covering these numbers. Normally, home is their spot, but they haven't been bad on the road. When I take a look, as road favorites, Rockets are 6-4 this season, so they've been performing. Wizards are 8-11 as home dogs, so it's not too far different of records, but the Rockets have been better in this spot. When I look at the injury report, Malcolm Brogdon is out for the Wizards. Jordan Poole and Bilal Coulibaly are questionable. So I would keep an eye on the injury report. Poole and Coulibaly are big for the Wizards, so if they're both ruled out, that's a big problem. Off rip, looking at this game, I would lean towards the Rockets minus 11.5. It's not my favorite game on the card. When I look at it a bit closer, the Rockets have the number 3 defense in the league. Rockets have a middle of the pack points per game, but the Wizards are 24th in the league at points per game. So the Wizards already don't score points, and the Rockets are one of the best teams in the league. That sets up for this 11.5, but for my pick in this game, I'll take the under 225.5. I feel like this is set a bit too high for a defensive style game and one of the worst offenses in the league. Moving forward. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Suns are laying 4.5, and the total is 222. When I look a bit closer at this game, Charlotte is 9-8 as home dogs, so they've actually won more games than they haven't, covering the spread at least. Cleveland is the much more talented team, we know that. But Hornets, okay, in their last game, they covered 15.5 against the Cavs. They played well there, and we had them. In the game before that, they covered 6.5 against the Pistons. We had the Hornets as well, so they've really been cashing for us. Looking at the injury report, LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller are both back for the Hornets as well. And that seems like it's been being a theme for us in the last few days, teams getting back healthy and kind of surprising us. I know we took the Suns yesterday for that same reason, Bradley Beal coming back and them being more healthy, but they're on a back-to-back as they played yesterday. And the Suns are an older team, people like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, they're older, and so playing games in a row, 2 days in a row, the fatigue is going to weigh on them a bit more. This season, the Suns are 1-5 with no rest, so they have not been covering in this spot. This isn't my favorite card overall. All of these games are a little bit tricky for me, but I'm going to take this as my highlighted play of the day. We're going to take the Hornets plus the 4.5 and the money line against the Phoenix Suns. Moving forward. Next up, we have the LA Lakers in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Lakers are laying 6.5 points, and the total is 220. For me, this game just comes down to injuries. So let me break down the injury report for you guys. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are questionable, but they should go. I'm sure they're on the injury report every day. I would assume that both AD and LeBron are going to play. When I look at Dallas, we know Kyrie and Luka are sitting, but now Daniel Gafford shows up on the injury report. I already didn't like the role players, and Gafford being added to the IR for the Mavs, they're just too banged up for me to even look in their direction. So, and wow, Dallas is also on a back to back, mind you. We had the Grizzlies minus 5.5 yesterday, and Dallas wasn't even able to cover a 5 point spread against the banged up Grizzlies yesterday. Now they're on a back to back. It's not a highlighted play, but I do really like the Lakers minus the 6.5 in this spot against the Dallas Mavericks. Moving forward. Next up, we have what's a tricky one, in my opinion, the Minnesota Timberwolves in New Orleans taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Wolves are laying 5 points, and the total is 220.5. Now, in this game, DeJounte Murray is questionable, even though he's been back. And I would assume he goes, but that's big because I feel like his return has played a big part in the way the Pelicans have been playing the last couple of games. When I look further, Trey Murphy III is ruled out. The Timberwolves, there's no new additions to the IR. Rob Dillingham is on there, but nothing of note. I like the way the Timberwolves have been playing. They fought some close games the last few. They won the game yesterday against the Clippers. Luckily, we had the +3 because the Clippers lost by 2, but the Timberwolves are able to pull that out. We're only getting this value, the -5, because the Timberwolves are on a back-to-back, so they don't have rest and they should have tired legs. But at the same time, they're a younger team. Like we said, unlike a team like the Suns, the Wolves will be able to bounce back in this spot from the fatigue. And let's be honest, the Pelicans, they look good in their last few games, but who'd they look good against? The Wizards. They played the Wizards back to back, and yeah, they whipped them up, but I'm not convinced and I'm not sold on this Pelicans team. So give me the Wolves minus the 5 points as my next play. Moving forward. Next up, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Utah taking on the Utah Jazz. Hawks are laying 6.5 points, and the total is 236. I don't trust the Hawks, and I haven't been able to trust them recently. They've been letting me down. On the flip side, Utah has been impressing me. We've been able to take them in spots. I told you a few days ago they owed me, but they paid me. So I'm happy with Utah from what I've seen recently. When I look a bit closer, Atlanta is 1-4 this season as road favorites, so they've been atrocious in this spot. On the Jazz side, they're 5-9 as home underdogs, so they haven't really been performing here either. That doesn't tell me too much. Looking at the injury reports for the Hawks, Bogdanovich and Trey Young are probable. They should go, but I can't count on Trey Young. Jalen Johnson is ruled out. He's big too. That's probably my favorite player on the Hawks is Jalen Johnson, so him being ruled out definitely makes me look in the Jazz direction. For the Jazz, Lauri Markkanen is questionable. If he plays, I do like the Jazz. Keontae George is ruled out, and him being out actually gives me more confidence on the Jazz. I feel like every time I take them, I look up and Keontae's 2 for 15 from the floor. So him being out actually makes me lean a bit more in the Jazz direction. I'll give out the Jazz plus 6.5 and also sprinkle on the money line. Atlanta's susceptible to losing in this spot outright, but give me the Jazz plus the 6.5 as my next selection of the day. Moving forward. Next up, we have the Boston Celtics in Denver taking on the Denver Nuggets. Celtics are laying 5.5 points, and the total is 236. When I look at the injury reports here, Aaron Gordon is ruled out for the Nuggets, and the Celtics have a clean injury report. This is a tough game for me to analyze. Typically, we like Denver in Denver, but they haven't been themselves this season. I feel like the Celtics are laying the 5.5 for a reason. It looks to me like when I look, the vast majority of early action is on Boston. A lot of early money is coming in on Boston, and I don't necessarily love that. I won't overcomplicate this one. It's not my favorite game on the board from a betting perspective. I'll definitely be watching it, but I'll give out Boston minus the 5.5 as my next selection of the day. Moving forward. In our last and final game of the night, we have the Miami Heat in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are laying 9.5 points, and the total is 218.5. The Heat were our only loss yesterday. We went 8-1 ATS. We almost swept the 9 game card, but we had the Heat plus 3.5, and they got taken to double OT, losing by 5 points against the Sacramento Kings. Not happy with the Heat for that. They blew my sweep. When I look at it here, they are on a back to back, obviously, but they are 4-3 on back to backs this season. So they've actually performed in this spot. The Warriors I faded in their last game and they got blown out by 20. So I haven't liked what I've seen from them recently. The thing for me in this one is, like I said, the Heat are on a back to back with travel. So they're traveling and they played yesterday, and it was a double OT game. So the fact that the Heat, and I watched the game, the Heat's legs were dead in the second overtime yesterday. So I can't trust them here. I think that the Warriors throttled them late in the game. I'm going to lay the 9.5 points with the Golden State Warriors. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can't even explain how much it means to me to be able to come on here and give you guys my picks and my angles, how I look at this, and show you how I've been making money over the years, guys. I've been on absolute fire to start the new year. I'm 10-4 ATS on all of my highlighted plays, and that's including plus money underdogs at plus 200, plus 250. And on every NBA game that's been played in the new year, I'm 32, 14, and 1 ATS. I'm on fire right now, guys. There's honestly no one doing it like me in the new year. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be here every day giving you guys my picks and ways to make money. Thank you so much. It's your boy Yo Hoops, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.